Hey everyone, it's Monday, and you know what that means? It's the TRJ Live Show, episode 59. We're talking about mountain magic or any place you roam and what you really need to know before you go out. So, hey everyone, TRJ Live, Monday. We are live. Yes, we are. And it's been quite the weather here in Alberta. Oh my gosh, it is pretty soggy. So, just a minute, I'm going to see if I'm on live on Facebook, and let's see. Yep, there I am. Awesome. All right, so how's everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. It was actually quite a good weekend here in Alberta. Well, actually Edmonton, where I am. Five Peaks was this weekend, and both central Alberta and northern Alberta had to get rerouted due to it had to get rerouted due to rain. And what was done was stayed off the course. We stayed off the single track because you know what? You don't want to be like that guest that comes, makes a mess in your house, and then leaves. So that's the thing. Is that's what we done. What happened in both northern and central Alberta is the course was rerouted, and in northern Alberta and Edmonton here, we were on the double wide. So for folks that are at a race and that has to be rerouted due to something, you know what? Your course distance may not be what it says, which you originally quote unquote signed up for. It may be a little longer, it may be shorter. I was at one race 1 year and it snowed in September. So the course was cut short. And yeah, the 100K wasn't 100K, it was more like 75K. And you know what? It's better to keep people safe than it is to get the exact distance. And also it's good to keep your trails safe as well too. And the thing is to keep your trails safe because you know what? You're not the only ones using it. And especially in the Edmonton area, it's the mountain bikers who built the trails. So as I said, you don't want to be like that guest that comes, makes a mess, and then leaves. All right. So we are in the swing of race season and also in hiking season as well too. And the thing is, before going out hiking, and hiking doesn't have to be in the mountains, it could be anywhere where you're not usually. So let's look. A lot of times it's very popular for the mountains here, but it could be at the beach. It could be on the prairie somewhere. It could be a trail you've never been on. It could be in a different province, different country. So let's look at things you actually really need to know before you go. And I'm going to give you some tips so that number one, you're safe. And right now, Death Race is coming up for August long weekend, which is the first long weekend in August. And there's always the question of, do I need to take a jacket up leg 2 or particularly for leg 2? And here's the deal when any safety gear is mentioned for carrying. We always get, do I really need to carry that? Here's the deal. 99% of the time, you won't need it until you do. And when you do, you damn well need it. A good example is bear spray. People sometimes they don't want to carry bear spray, or do I really need to carry bear spray? Well, at one race that just happened, one runner used bear spray on a cougar. She was face to face with a cougar. So think about it. The whole thing isn't to carry it to make your life miserable and to have your pack a little heavier. And by the way, train with your gear so you A, know the weight of it, and B, you know how to use it. Okay. The whole thing is to keep you safe. It's just like, when you're putting your seatbelt on, you're not going to use it's to prevent you from getting hurt. This is the same thing. So for Death Race, do you need to carry a light jacket? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because the thing is, if you don't, and you end up being in a place of where hypothermia sets in, or you need attention, you're now a liability. And there's a runner's code is that you not only take care of yourself, you take care of your fellow runners on the trail. So again, you know what? You take care of yourself and you help others. But if you're being the person who doesn't carry the gear because they don't want to, are in the position of being a liability. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with weather since we're in here now in Alberta. Wow. We are in the rainy season right now in July, which is kind of unusual sometimes. And my hair has an attitude of its own. So yeah, we're rainy. And the thing, especially if you're going into the mountains, how it is on the ground, it could be totally different than on top. And here's the thing to remember is that when you're climbing, I saw a comment, oh, you don't need it for this mountain because at the bottom, at the top, it's the same thing. No, not necessarily, because not only are you climbing in elevation, there's a variable, but you're not climbing straight up. You're climbing up at an angle. So there's also the distance. And you know what? Go for a drive and you can see a cloud over there and a cloud over there, and there's no rain happening here. So things are unpredictable. And the thing to remember, especially if you're going into mountains that, especially in Alberta here, but thing to remember is storms can come up very fast. There could be not a cloud in the sky, and then all of a sudden the wind picks up and there's a storm. So watch the weather, and not only watch the weather for on the ground. There's a website called spotwx.com, and you can input the information about what mountain tops you will be on, what mountains you'll be on, and it'll give you the weather systems for the mountain, for that particular mountain. So weather is unpredictable. Watch what's happening, watch the predictions. And a good rule of thumb is, carry a light jacket with you. Carry stuff that is if you need it, it's going to keep you safe, and it actually could save your life. And right now I'm going to get into what's called as a space blanket or an emergency blanket. This is one thing that I will harp upon that people carry regardless of the season and regardless of where you're running. Do you want to have something to do? Google uses for an emergency blanket or a space blanket. There's 52 of them, and used for stuff other than just wrapping yourself in. There's many, many uses for this. This could be a tarp. This could be a tent. This can be used to cook your food. This can be used as kind of like, a light beacon if you are missing, and you can actually set this up so this can be a reflective beacon. Now, if you're using this as a blanket, there's two sides to this thing. There is a shiny side and there is a matte side. The shiny side is to keep you cooler. So if you're last week I covered hyperthermia. That's when a space blanket is used with a shiny side out to help keep you cooler. Shiny side in, it's reflecting all the heat back in. So that is used in terms of colder weather. Now, has it happened that a storm has come up and there's been people that have had have been in, I'm going to say, in contact with hypothermia? Oh yeah. And the one race that's coming up that this is famous for is Canadian Death Race. So this is the one thing. It doesn't weigh much. It doesn't take much room, and it honestly could save your life. So an emergency blanket, also known as a space blanket, highly, highly recommend. And especially if you're winter running, for God's sake, this is one thing that, it's one of these things. It can be in your car. It could be in your pack. And you know what? You might not be the one using it. You might have to use it on someone else. So this is something definitely to carry with you. Doesn't matter how far you're going or where you're going. Definitely something to carry. And so with weather, yes, watch the weather and be prepared. Be prepared. If it was kind of rainy going in, it's probably still going to continue. And I've seen the Death Race course pummel down rain. So yeah. Now in the mountains for drinking, a drinking straw might be something that you carry, because the water stations, if you're used to running only road, aid stations may be 10 or so kilometers apart. So know where your fresh water supplies are, and know what water is safe to drink. Okay. So that's something to be aware of. So wherever you're going, find out what's available. And I'm going to make a mention right now is going for a race and going for a hike are actually two different things, even though you could be going on the same trail. During a race, The crew is out there, the race organizers are out there, search and rescues out there. Safety is put in place. You've got forestry out there looking for your wildlife. In a hike, you've got none of that. You have none of that for a hike. So bear in mind, as what I say is the best defense is a good offense. Now, when you're packing, you don't necessarily want to pack the kitchen sink, but think about what is the highest probability you're going to need. And for the next one, I'm going to talk about wildlife. So look at where you're going. What is the possibility you can encounter in Alberta? Bears, cougars, deer, moose. Grouse. They'll scare the crap out of you when they take off. Skunks, porcupines. Like, know what you can encounter and know what to do if you do encounter it. So, for example, with a moose, know what to do when you encounter a moose. Have I encountered moose? Many. They're damn scary. They actually are. And the thing is, because they're so big and they're so stealthy. If you see a moose charging you, what do you do? The answer is get out of the way. But with a bear is know what kind of bears, and usually it's grizzly or black bears, and know their antics. If they're in a huckleberry bush and they're just eating berries, you probably don't have anything to worry about. But if it's a sow with cubs, this is when you really need to take note. So note what kind of animals you could be encountering and what to do. Okay. Now, also, on the animal kingdom, snakes. What snakes can you encounter? What about scorpions? What insects can you encounter? Ticks. Is that a possibility to encounter ticks? Now, this is not to set anybody into paranoia. This is to be aware. And as I said, your best defense is a good offense. So drop in the comments, what wildlife have you encountered on the trail? Okay. Let's see what you've encountered. I've encountered quite a few, bears included. I've not encountered a cougar yet, but bears, moose, deer, lots of beaver, coyotes, foxes, snakes as well too. Now, what insects? August is usually wasp season. Wasp or yellow jackets, if you want to put it. Know the best defense against that. Deer flies. What are some of the things to safeguard you against deer flies? We often think of mosquitoes and think of the mosquito spray, but what about some other insects? Scorpions. What do you do with a scorpion? What do you do with a tarantula? Ticks. Have you got a tick removal kit, especially if you're going into areas with ticks? Another thing is if you're going, say, for example, in the Alaska area, black flies. What's the best prevention with that? So the thing is to know the area you're going into and know what's also going to make your event enjoyable. Okay. A lot of times mountains, if it's wet, you're going to have some mosquitoes. What's the best prevention against that? So wildlife, I'm going to cover bear spray right now. This is bear spray. Now, the thing about bear spray, there's a few things. Number one is, there's a few number ones. Number one, take off the zip tie that is actually locking this. It's usually, when you get this bear spray, you will have a zip tie that is locking it. Take that off and also take it out of the wrapper. I have seen things of what, I got bear spray. It's still in the wrapper. It's still zip tied. Here's the thing to remember. You might have your bear spray, but know how to use it. You know how to use it. And I've seen, I got my bear spray. It's back there somewhere. No. Bear is not going to go, you got your bear spray. I'll wait for you to go out and get it. No. Have your bear spray readily accessible. I wear it underneath, almost like a holster, like in my pack. Some people wear it in the front, and I know some people who wear it in their leg pocket. The whole thing is make sure it's easily accessible. And when you take it out, the spray nozzle is pointing that way. Take a note of what direction the wind is blowing as well too. If you've got a headwind, not the time to spray, because you're going to be wearing the bear spray. This is high strength capsicum in here. It is nasty. Now, I do have the safety on, and I have the safety on all the time until I pop it off and I'm going to use it. Why is the safety on? Because this is a hair trigger. and a very little can clear out an arena, and it's miserable. And they say this is spray. Now, there are stories of people who have sprayed it on themselves. Not a good thing. Now, there are things of scat belts that you could put these on. It's across your lumbar area. There's been accidents with them. I do know of one person who fell back and on a rock, and her bear spray was punctured. Also know what to do if you get this stuff on you. It burns. It burns like a son of a bitch. Yeah, profanity included. So know what to do with it. Also, when you're carrying it, how good are you with the draw? How good are you with the draw and the hold? Because this is under pressure, and expired bear spray can still be used. What is going to go on this is not the strength of the capsicum in here. What's going to go is the pressure that this bottle is under. That's what's going to go. Now, bear spray that's more expired, you can use that for practice. You can use that to practice and draw. But this guy right here, number one, make sure it's ready to go. It's ready to go, and you won't need this until you do. That lady on at the race, it was Sinister 7. She was face to face with a cougar. Guess what she used? This can also be used on cougars, dogs that are aggressive, just about any other animal as well too. So this is something I carry this even around here. I do. So know how to use this guy. And is it only for hiking or on foot? No, there's lots of different, like for example, horseback riding. You can carry horseback riding. Doesn't mean to say you're going to use it from your horse. So bear spray, know how to use it, readily accessible, and make sure it's ready to go. Okay, so we got bear spray. I think I hounded that one. So what else are we going to have? Any of your other things with animals? Know their characteristics and when they actually are dangerous. Okay, and which, for example, is snake. Garter snakes are harmless. Know what a rattler, when it's actually a little bit on the testy side, and you actually want to get away from there. Same thing with scorpions. Scorpions. Know where to put your gear and where not to put your gear. So where you're going to, find out what the natural creepy crawlies are. If you ask me what to do with a gator, I don't know, because I've never been around one. I'd like to see one, but I have no ambition to go and wrestle one. Thank you very much. So there you go. So going into the mountains, there's also, or any place you want to go, what gear do you need? For example, winter snowshoeing, you want to have snowshoes that are equipped for mountain, that are not a brand that's going to bend or break on you. Poles, do you need poles? If you do, work with those things before you take them out. Now, what type of food and fuel is you want to have stuff that's got some substance to it. So just sugar or just to go on gels, that's not going to work. That's not going to work if you just go on sugar and gels. Now, how much? Make sure you're carrying enough food with you, as in the minimum to look at is 250 calories an hour, because you're going to be climbing, you're going to be using much more energy than if you're going on the flat. Okay, so make sure you're carrying enough food with you, and food that works well with you. And when I say that, make sure you're taking stuff that you know is going to work well. Now, I will say, if you have to drink from a stream, Giardia takes 5 days to get into action. So you're going to be fine for that day, but you probably want to head on into Emerge for a precaution from there. Now, another thing to carry with you that highly recommend is a first aid pack. And there are companies online who do sell first aid kits specifically for hiking, specifically for riverboat rafting, whatever it is. They're sport specific. Now, in here, I recommend blister pack. Absolutely, blister pack. Have some duct tape that's rolled up. You can use it to wrap your toes in, or you can use it if you're having a rub spot, you can put on there. KT tape is another thing to put in here as well. Also, a tick removal kit, particularly if you're going into an area where ticks can be found, can be prevalent. A tick removal kit. Also, after bite. If you mosquito bites or whatever bites, it could be spider bites. Afterbite is another good thing to put in there as well too, but definitely blisters, definitely blister kits. Also have some matches that are fireproof, and you can start a fire in case you have to be out, in case you're stranded somewhere and you have to start a fire. You never know. So have your kit, have your first aid kit that you know what's in there, and you also it's in a lot of this is in case you need it. If for example, pain meds, anti-inflammatories, Tylenol 3, not Tylenol 3, sorry, Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, EpiPen. If you are allergic, make sure you're carrying an EpiPen with you. Especially if you have a tendency to go into anaphylaxis. So think about what would happen if I'm going to say the worst case happens. So also another thing, and I don't have it with it, is a whistle. Take a whistle, have a whistle on you. I have whistles on all my packs. And well, why a whistle? It's not used to entertain myself. Think about it. Here's a good example, twist your ankle and you need help. You can whistle a lot longer with a whistle than you can by yelling. And plus, a whistle is a different pitch. People are more likely to hear it. If you want a good show on, I believe it's Netflix, I think it's called I Should Not Be Alive. And it is a show about people who they've gone through an atrocity of some sort. The one I saw was mountain climbers. They got stranded, and what they went through. Another one I saw, they were in Africa, and a hippo upended the boat, and they ended up surviving in croc-infested waters and stuff. That show is a good one to make you think about next time you go out, what do you need to carry? Okay. And another thing is to share your plan that you're going out, and use a GPS tracking. Now, GPS tracking, at the very least, as you can, is with your phone. And you can have GPS tracking on that. If you don't know where you are, you want to communicate, do a screenshot of where you are and send it. And make sure people are aware how long you're going to be, where you're going, and when you're planning to get back. Now, this is more so for hikes, but even with, for example, if you're doing a race, so they know exactly kind of sort of when they're coming in. And here's something else. If you have to go off trail to go to the bathroom in a race, take your pack off and put it on the trail. Take your toilet paper out first if you're going to need it. But here's the reason why. If your pack is sitting on the trail and you're not with your pack, search and rescue, the sweep's coming behind, know there's a person there somewhere. And they will look out for you, and they will make sure you are reunited with your pack before they go on, actually. And it's actually, then they know there's somebody, wait a minute, they're not with their pack. Where are they? Okay. So they're not left. So you're not left behind. So yeah, share your tracking, share your plan with people. And another thing to know, especially when you're planning your fuel, for a race or even for a hike, is how does elevation affect your pacing? If you're coming, and this is not only talking about coming from a place of 500 feet elevation and you're going up to, say, for example, Colorado, which is 7,500 feet, are you going to be affected? Know those elevation differences and how you're going to be affected, and how much do you have to acclimate. And acclimation isn't done the day of, it's done a couple of days beforehand. So know that before you go. Also, humidity and dryness. I am in a more dry climate. If I went to run in some place that's humid, I would have a lot harder of an effort. The other way around, it's almost like turning on the gas. It's like, oh man, I can breathe. For me, going into a place that's very humid, it'd be almost like me trying to breathe in a swimming pool. So know these things before you go. And so that your trip, your hike, your outing, so you have the most enjoyable thing most enjoyable event. And if going in the backcountry, know, as I say, your best defense is a good offense. Know what you can run into, and let people know your plan. So just to recap, some of the minimum stuff to carry: the ice, a light jacket, and if you not a jacket, one thing you can do is take a large garbage bag, cut out a hole for your head and for your arms. That could be a makeshift jacket. Because the thing is, when rain comes down in the mountains, it's not warm rain, it's cold rain. It's cool. But yes, this, if you're going, a light jacket, absolutely. That has to be windproof at the least. A first aid kit that to have for blisters, your afterbite that's in here, also a tick kit. Have it so that it is something that is going to, will it save your life? Maybe, maybe not, but it's going to make you a heck of a lot more comfortable to get to the next spot of where you need to go. And this guy, bear spray. Bear spray, honestly, I won't go into the mountains without it. A lot of places around here, I won't go without it. And it is basically, get comfortable with it. It's your piece of equipment. It becomes a part of you. So wherever you go for your next adventure, whether it's a race in the mountains or wherever it is, know what you can encounter, know what to do if you do encounter it, and above all, be safe. Because you know what the whole thing is, there's the questions of, do I really need to? Well, 99% of the times, no, you don't. You don't need to until you do. And when you do, you really need it. So that's the whole thing. It is for that protection. So anyhow, watch the weather, especially if you're going and coming into death race, man, watch that weather. It's pretty unpredictable right now. And remember, what's down here, it may be totally different than what's up here. And what's on this mountaintop may be totally different than what's on that mountaintop. So you got a mixed bag to deal with. Oh, and by the way, respect the night. The night is a lot cooler. Even though the numbers may be the same, the night's a lot cooler. So respect the night as well, too. So everyone, I hope you have a good week. Oh, and by the way, I have a newsletter. So if you want me in your inbox every Wednesday for some more running tips, for some more, whatever it is, drop news in the comments and I'll get you on my newsletter. It's actually one to be on. Because you know what? I'm the info running nerd. So I do the nerdy stuff, so you can do the running stuff. So anyway, however, blah, 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 blah. Anyhow, everyone, have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. If you're in the Edmonton, like if you're in Alberta, man, keep dry. We've got a lot of wet weather around us right now. So keep dry, everyone. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week.